Hey everybody, Alan here, and got an update, not for any real good reason other than there hasn't been an update in a while. I was talking to a subscriber who said, hey, you haven't posted a video in quite a while. I said, I know, the shop's been really busy. And he said, why do you think we subscribe? We want to know what you're working on. Alright, good point. So, in the shop currently is this beautiful 1969 Oldsmobile 442 convertible. First thing you may have noticed is the interior is a little torn up. Well, reason for that is the hydraulic top assembly was not working. Hydraulic top assembly on these is kind of complicated. It uses, back here, this is an electric pump with a built-in hydraulic reservoir, and then it's got these lines, one here on the top and there's another on the back that you can't see real well, which run behind the back seat and out here into these hydraulic cylinders, which activate the top using those pistons there at the top. I haven't done the final attachment on them, so you can see they're just kind of loose in the mechanism, but that's how they work. System uses ATF of all things, so that pump comes pre-filled with transmission fluid, but the cylinders do not. So once I get the electrical harness back in this car, we'll have to bleed it, add some transmission fluid, bleed the lines, etc. You may be asking yourself, why would the electrical harness be out of this car? Well, a lot's out of this car. Let me show you. Hang on, I need both hands to do this. There is no engine in this car, nor is there a radiator. Related problems. This car was, I don't know if I want to say partially restored, but badly restored, I guess would be the best way of putting it. And there were so many things wrong with the engine, I almost can't describe them all. But first and foremost was this tiny little radiator. It's a single core aluminum and plastic. I don't know why you would use it other than these are the cheapest ones on the market. They're about $230. It looks like whoever restored this car was either an idiot or just trying to get done on the super cheap, or maybe both, because that's kind of the way everything has been done in this build. A lot of corners cut. And combine that with this little 4-blade fan and the fact that somebody added air conditioning. That's a heat exchanger from a vintage air bolt-on kit. And this engine just ran way too hot. It boiled everything. When we took it apart, the head studs were brittle, carbonized, smelled burnt. Everything was damaged. The heads were warped about 2 thousandths. We're having to deck the block, deck the heads. I could spend an entire video just on what was wrong with the motor in this car. So that is out being machined right now. It's a 400 big block. A little bit of an oddball of an engine. A lot of stroke, not a lot of bore. Makes its power down low. A lot of torque, not a lot of high RPM horsepower. But we are doing a hand blueprint, custom pistons from Egg Machine, Comp Cam's recreation of the 340 horse 455 grind, new clutch, new radiator, new intake manifold, which is its own story. Basically, when I get the engine back from the machine shop and as we install it, we'll do another video of installing all of that. Now, as I have been walking around, you see something else here in the parking lot. This is a 1976 Chevrolet C65 Howe fire truck. Bought this on the internet Way too cheap. Original plan was to make it a car hauler, unfire truck it, and make it a transporter. Not going to do that for a couple of reasons. One is that the cost was a little bit higher than I thought. The other is it has gotten a lot of interest just as a fire truck. And there's a fire truck in the background driving by. But anyway, so kind of just going to clean it up. And I've already talked to some people who are interested in buying it as a fire truck. Just to give you some idea of the scale of this thing, that's a 5 Series BMW parked next to it. Barely gets halfway on the thing. It's a big monster. We'll do a video just of the truck, but I wanted to introduce it to you here today. And I wanted to show you the motor. That is a 366 big block Chevy, completely original. You will notice it still has the Keep Your GM Truck All GM stickers, and then over here on the valve cover it's got the assembly stickers from the factory. This thing is crazy original. Does have, you can see it a little bit there in the back, does have a new distributor. We did new ignition, new fuel pump, new starter, but that's the original carburetor on it. They've got a 4-barrel mechanical secondary Holley with, that's a governor there on the side. These are governed at 4,100 RPM. What I believe to be one of the most underappreciated obscure engines around, the 366 is a tall deck big block, shares a block with a 427, which was a medium duty truck engine only from the early 80s, I believe, until 1998. And then the current production ZZ572 crate motor uses this same deck. It's a 10.2, I believe. It's either 10.2 or 10.4. It's 4/10 of an inch taller than the standard big block Chevy, which on this 366 is total overkill. The bore on this thing is 397, but the stroke is only 367. And so you may be asking yourself, why in the world does this thing have such a tall deck when the stroke on the ZZ572 is 4.375? And the answer is the pistons. It uses an oversized type of a piston that has 4 rings in it. And it's a very thick, very tall piston. These trucks were used pretty much only in commercial and industrial applications. The smallest truck that ever had this engine was, I believe, the C50. They used it all the way up to the C80. And then it was also used in some agricultural equipment and some industrial applications. So it is way overbuilt for that type of durability. This particular truck has a Clark 5-speed in it with a 2-speed Eaton rear end. Like I said, I'll do another video just on this truck, but I've just been having so much fun with it, I wanted to introduce it to you. So that's what's going on. We've got a 2018 Miata that we have kind of started on. So far it's got intake and exhaust. We're working on a tuning package. And then in a month or so, it's probably going to get some adjustable coilovers like the Passat you saw a little bit ago. And then, of course, you saw the El Camino in the back. That is getting close to some major progress, so we'll have a video on it coming up as well. So anyway, that's November here at SQ, and we'll see you next time.